10 Stoic Habits to Build Unshakable Emotional Strength. Have you ever felt like life is slowly draining the energy out of you, leaving you with nothing but exhaustion, doubt, and frustration? What if I told you that the secret to emotional strength isn't about pushing harder or forcing yourself through more pain? It's not about pretending to have it all together or searching for that magic moment where everything finally clicks. No, the true key to becoming emotionally strong lies in something far more powerful: mastering your inner world. And here's the real shocker: you already have the strength to build it within you. But it's buried beneath the layers of stress, distractions, and the noise of daily life. Imagine being able to face life's hardest challenges with a calm, clear mind, unshaken by setbacks or external chaos. In today's episode, we're not just talking about surviving tough times. We're going to explore how to thrive by harnessing the power of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics knew something that most of us miss. Real strength comes not from avoiding hardship, but from learning how to respond to it. They didn't just survive the storms. They used them to grow. Let me show you how to do the same by practicing 10 transformative habits that will help you become emotionally stronger than you ever thought possible. Are you ready to uncover this hidden strength within yourself? Let's dive in. 1. Start your day by identifying control. Every morning you're bombarded with a rush of thoughts. What's on your to-do list, what problems you'll face, and what obstacles stand in your way. But here's the question that will change everything. How often do you stop and think about what you can actually control? How many of those thoughts are spent on things that are completely out of your hands? These distractions are not only a waste of energy, they drain your emotional resources, leaving you feeling overwhelmed before the day even begins. The first habit to build emotional strength is deceptively simple yet incredibly powerful. Start your day by identifying what you control. This is at the core of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics understood that true peace comes from recognizing the difference between what you can influence and what you can't. They believed that we only have power over our responses, our thoughts, and our actions. Everything else is outside our control. Think of life as a series of concentric circles. The inner circle represents what you control: your attitude, your decisions, your reactions. The outer circle contains everything beyond your control: other people's actions, the weather, the unexpected challenges that come your way. The Stoics remind us to pour our energy into the things within our circle and to release attachment to the rest. This simple act of mental clarity frees you from the frustration of trying to control the uncontrollable. So, tomorrow morning, before you get swept away by the usual whirlwind of responsibilities, pause. Ask yourself, what do I control today? Make a mental list. Your mindset, your approach to challenges, how you'll respond to others. Shift your energy from frustration to action, from helplessness to empowerment. You will be amazed at how much clearer and calmer your day becomes when you focus on the things that truly matter. 2. Practice the inner pause before reacting. Have you ever found yourself reacting impulsively, only to regret it the moment the words leave your mouth or the decision is made? Anger, frustration, anxiety. These emotions can overwhelm us in an instant. The feeling is raw, intense, and before we know it, we've said something we didn't mean or made a choice we didn't truly want to make. But what if you could take control of those moments before they take control of you? The second habit for building emotional strength is about creating space between feeling and reaction. This is called the inner pause. In a world that encourages instant responses, especially in emotionally charged situations, the Stoics taught us the power of self-control. They believed that while we cannot always control our emotions, we always have the power to choose how we respond to them. Epictetus, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This insight underscores the fact that our emotions aren't just passive reactions. They are shaped by how we interpret and respond to the events around us. By practicing the inner pause, you give yourself the time to reflect before acting, allowing you to choose a response that aligns with your values rather than an impulsive reaction driven by unchecked emotion. Here's how it works. When you feel that surge of anger, frustration, or anxiety, take a deep breath and pause for a moment. Count to 5, step away, or simply let your thoughts settle before you speak or act. This brief moment of stillness doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means acknowledging them without letting them dictate your behavior. The beauty of this practice is that it gives you the space to respond more thoughtfully instead of reacting from a place of impulse. Imagine a colleague makes a comment that frustrates you. Instead of snapping back in the heat of the moment, take that pause. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? What would a calm and thoughtful response look like? By consistently practicing this habit, you'll start responding with greater clarity and wisdom, even in the most emotionally charged situations. This simple act of pausing before reacting doesn't require any grand changes in your life. It's a small habit that, over time, will help you build emotional resilience. You'll find yourself navigating difficult conversations, stressful meetings, and personal conflicts with greater composure and strength. 3. Be honest with yourself. One of the most difficult tasks on the journey to emotional strength is confronting the truth about ourselves. It's all too easy to hide behind distractions, denials, and justifications, especially when facing parts of our lives that make us uncomfortable. Whether it's facing our mistakes, acknowledging our flaws, or confronting past failures, honesty with ourselves can feel like an overwhelming burden. But here's the Stoic truth. True growth begins the moment you embrace your reality, no matter how difficult it may seem. The third habit to build emotional strength is about owning your truth without shame or judgment. The Stoics knew that facing the truth was the path to emotional resilience and wisdom. In fact, they believed that we can never truly grow if we are not completely honest with ourselves about our shortcomings and imperfections. Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This means understanding your authentic self. Flaws, mistakes, strengths, and all. It's easy to hide from difficult truths, to avoid acknowledging the things we don't like about ourselves. But in avoiding self-honesty, we delay our growth. Imagine the times you've ignored a pattern in your behavior that caused problems in your relationships, or a habit that's holding you back from reaching your goals. When you finally faced that uncomfortable truth, it may have stung, but it also brought clarity. That clarity gave you the power to change and improve. Self-honesty is not about self-criticism or judgment. It's about accepting who you are right now and realizing that every part of you, even the imperfect pieces, is a part of your journey. When we stop pretending to be someone we're not, we free ourselves from the weight of denial. We stop running from the uncomfortable and instead we embrace it with the courage to grow. Start by carving out time for self-reflection each day. Ask yourself the tough questions. Where am I holding myself back? What do I need to admit to myself in order to move forward? What parts of me am I still denying or avoiding? This kind of self-honesty opens the door to transformation. By acknowledging both our strengths and flaws, we begin to see the world with a clearer lens. We stop blaming others or external circumstances, and instead, we take full responsibility for our actions, decisions, and growth. 4. Reflect on daily events. How often do you take the time to reflect on the events of your day? In the rush of our busy lives, we're constantly moving from one task to the next, often neglecting to pause and truly examine how we've responded to the situations we've faced. But the Stoics understood the power of self-reflection. The practice of stepping back, taking a moment to reflect on our actions, and learning from our experiences. This daily habit is one of the most effective ways to build emotional strength and awareness. The fourth habit for emotional strength is to set aside time each day for reflection. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius made it a point to reflect on his actions, reactions, and the events of his day. He believed that self-awareness was crucial to living a life of virtue, wisdom, and emotional resilience. He would often write in his meditations, asking himself what he could have done better, how he could have acted more thoughtfully, and how he could have aligned his actions with his values. Reflection is a powerful tool for personal growth because it allows us to observe ourselves without the distractions of daily life. It helps us understand why we react the way we do and provides insight into how we can improve our behavior in the future. When we take a moment at the end of the day to reflect on our actions, we give ourselves the opportunity to recognize patterns in our emotional responses. Did we handle challenges with calm, or did we let frustration take the lead? Did we approach interactions with compassion, or did we act impulsively? By reflecting on moments of difficulty or emotional tension, we can learn from them. For example, if you had a heated disagreement with a colleague, instead of simply moving on with frustration or lingering anger, take a moment to ask, did I stay calm? Was I truly listening? How could I have responded more thoughtfully? This exercise isn't about self-criticism. It's about understanding your emotional landscape so that you can act with more clarity and intention in the future. Reflection also allows us to celebrate our progress. It's not just about recognizing where we fell short, but also about acknowledging our growth and resilience. Maybe you handled a tough situation better than you would have last month, or maybe you responded with more patience than you thought you could. These small victories are just as important as the areas for improvement. So make reflection a daily habit. It doesn't need to be a lengthy or complicated process. It could be as simple as spending 5 minutes each evening reviewing your day, thinking about how you handled your emotions, and identifying areas where you could grow. This simple habit will strengthen your emotional awareness and resilience, and over time, it will help you approach the world with more wisdom and clarity. 5. Practice daily gratitude. How often do you pause to appreciate the good things already present in your life? It's easy to get caught up in the relentless pursuit of more. More success, more possessions, more recognition. But in the process, we often overlook the simple joys that are right in front of us. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to strive for the next big thing, but gratitude is the practice that can shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance, and it is one of the most powerful ways to build emotional resilience. The 5th habit for emotional strength is to practice daily gratitude. The Stoics valued gratitude deeply, recognizing that it wasn't just about appreciating the good things that happened to us, but about cultivating a mindset of appreciation for what we already have. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, believed that true strength of character is built little by little, day by day. Gratitude is a cornerstone of this daily process. It helps us focus on the blessings we often take for granted, rather than constantly chasing after what we think we need or want. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from what's missing to what's already present. You stop fixating on the next goal, the next promotion, or the next acquisition, and instead, you begin to recognize and appreciate the abundance that surrounds you. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment. It helps you see the countless things in your life that are already good. The relationships you have, the opportunities you've been given, even the small moments of joy that brighten your day, like a warm cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset. The Stoics believed that gratitude was a powerful antidote to negative emotions. When we cultivate gratitude, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by feelings of frustration or envy. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we begin to see the wealth of blessings we already possess. This shift in mindset not only improves our emotional well-being, but it also builds resilience. It allows us to face life's challenges with a sense of peace, knowing that even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. Start by taking just a few minutes each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be as simple as recognizing the support of your friends and family, the opportunity to grow and learn, or even the ability to enjoy the little pleasures in life. Write them down or simply acknowledge them in your mind. This small act of gratitude can have a profound impact on your emotional strength and outlook on life. Gratitude isn't just a passive feeling. It's an active choice. You can choose to focus on what is good, even when things aren't perfect. When challenges arise, remind yourself of what's already going well. By doing so, you build a resilient emotional foundation that can withstand adversity with calm and clarity. Gratitude also strengthens your connections with others. When you express appreciation for the people in your life, you deepen your relationships and create an environment of positivity and support. So tomorrow, start your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. Throughout the day, remind yourself of the blessings you already have. This simple practice will reframe your mindset, foster emotional strength, and help you stay grounded in the present, no matter what comes your way. 6. Learn the art of letting go. We've all experienced loss in some form. The loss of a job, a relationship, a dream, or even a sense of certainty about the future. Loss is an inevitable part of life, and it often brings with it a wave of emotions. Sadness, anger, fear, and disappointment. But what if the key to emotional strength isn't about avoiding loss, but about embracing it as a natural part of the human experience? The 6th habit for building emotional strength is to learn the art of letting go. Letting go is not about forgetting what was lost or pretending it doesn't matter. It's about accepting that everything in life is temporary, including the things we hold dear. The Stoics believe that loss is not the end. It's simply part of life's natural cycle. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." In other words, life is constantly in flux, and the things we cherish are subject to change. It's not about trying to avoid loss or hold on to things forever, but about accepting the impermanence of everything. When we hold on to something, whether it's an old belief, a past relationship, or a failed opportunity, we tie ourselves to the past. We allow the weight of that attachment to burden our emotional well-being. Letting go doesn't mean we stop caring or that we forget what we've lost. It means we acknowledge that loss is part of life and that holding on to it only causes us more pain and suffering. Think about the things in your life that you've been clinging to. The people, the situations, or even the emotions that no longer serve you. Maybe it's resentment from a past breakup, a lingering expectation that life should have gone differently, or the fear of letting go of a dream that didn't come to fruition. The Stoics taught us that the act of letting go is liberating. It frees us from the emotional weight of clinging to what was, and it opens up space for new growth, new opportunities, and new possibilities. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring about the past. It means you stop allowing it to define you. It means you trust that as life changes, new opportunities will come your way. Letting go is an act of faith. It's a belief that by releasing what no longer serves you, you make room for what is meant to enter your life. Whether it's letting go of old beliefs that limit your growth, releasing resentment from a past experience, or accepting that certain things are beyond your control, each act of letting go strengthens your emotional resilience. Start practicing the art of letting go today. Acknowledge that loss is a part of life and that it doesn't define who you are. Release the need to control everything or hold on to the past, and instead, embrace the natural flow of life. You may feel vulnerable at first, but as you practice this habit, you'll find that it creates emotional space for peace, growth, and new possibilities. 7. Set clear priorities. How often do you find yourself caught up in the rush of daily life, responding to demands from others, and tackling tasks that seem urgent but don't actually matter in the grand scheme of things? It's so easy to become distracted by the noise around us, whether it's emails, meetings, or the constant pressure to do more. But the truth is, emotional strength isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. The 7th habit for emotional strength is to set clear priorities. The Stoics knew that true strength comes from knowing what truly matters and focusing your energy on those things, regardless of external pressures. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, frequently reminded himself of the importance of focusing on what was essential, and not getting lost in the chaos of distractions. He wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." In other words, we can't control everything around us, but we can control how we respond and where we direct our attention. Setting clear priorities means being intentional with your time and energy. It's about stepping back from the hustle and asking yourself, what really matters to me? What are my long-term goals and values? What will I never regret giving my time and energy to? These are the questions that help you cut through the noise and focus on what truly moves you forward. When we fail to set priorities, we can easily become overwhelmed by the demands of others or the constant pull of urgent tasks. We may end up spending our time on things that don't align with our deeper values, leaving us feeling drained and disconnected from our true purpose. But when you take the time to identify what truly matters and align your actions with those priorities, everything shifts. You become more purposeful with your time, more focused in your efforts, and more at peace with your decisions. Think about the things that you've been spending your time on. How many of those things are aligned with your core values and long-term goals? Are you spending too much energy on tasks that, while urgent, don't contribute to your greater sense of purpose? By setting clear priorities, you free yourself from the pressure to do it all and instead direct your energy toward what's most meaningful. Start by defining your top priorities today. What will bring you the most fulfillment and satisfaction? What actions will align with your deepest values and long-term goals? When you focus on the things that truly matter, you create the mental and emotional space to make progress, grow, and build the life you want. 8. Practice mental detachment. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and demands. Every moment seems to bring a new piece of news, another expectation, or another pressure that requires our attention. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of external stimuli, to let every criticism or every bit of bad news disrupt our emotional state. But here's the Stoic lesson. Emotional strength comes not from reacting to everything around us, but from detaching ourselves from the things that don't serve our peace of mind. The 8th habit for emotional strength is to practice mental detachment. This doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world or ignoring your emotions. It means creating space between yourself and external events so that you can remain grounded and focused, no matter how chaotic the world around you may become. The Stoics understood that while we can't control the actions of others or the events that happen to us, we can always control how we respond to them. Epictetus, a key figure in Stoic philosophy, taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This teaching highlights the importance of separating ourselves from the emotional weight of external circumstances. Practicing mental detachment allows us to remain present and engaged with life without becoming emotionally consumed by every situation or opinion that comes our way. It's about choosing your responses consciously rather than allowing yourself to be swept away by every wave of emotion or external challenge. Think about a time when you've been criticized or judged. How did you respond? Did you let the negative comments define your self-worth? Or did you maintain your emotional clarity and stay true to yourself? Practicing mental detachment helps you step back from these external judgments and maintain your sense of inner peace. It allows you to engage with life without becoming overly attached to outcomes or the opinions of others. One of the simplest ways to practice mental detachment is to begin by recognizing what is within your control and what is not. You can't control other people's actions, thoughts, or opinions, but you can control how you interpret and respond to them. By mentally detaching from external expectations or judgments, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil. You can still listen, learn, and engage with others, but without allowing their opinions or behaviors to dictate your emotional state. Mental detachment also helps you set healthy emotional boundaries. When someone criticizes you or imposes their expectations on you, detachment allows you to acknowledge the feedback without taking it personally or letting it affect your mood. This practice strengthens your emotional resilience and keeps you focused on what truly matters, rather than being derailed by the noise of the outside world. So, how can you start practicing mental detachment today? Begin by pausing before reacting to external events. Whether it's criticism, disappointment, or stress, Take a moment to assess whether it's something you can control. If the answer is no, let it go. By creating this mental space, you'll find yourself responding with more clarity, calm, and emotional strength, no matter what life throws your way. 9. Set a daily purpose. How often do you wake up and simply go through the motions of the day without any clear intention or direction? It's easy to fall into the trap of simply reacting to whatever comes our way. Answering emails, attending meetings, running errands. But at the end of the day, we might feel like we've done a lot without actually making any meaningful progress. The key to building emotional strength is living with intention by creating a sense of purpose in each day. The 9th habit for emotional strength is to set a daily purpose. This means identifying one specific goal or intention for your day that will give it meaning and direction. It's not about overloading yourself with a long list of tasks, but about being intentional with your time and energy. When you start each day with a clear purpose in mind, you wake up with clarity and focus, knowing exactly what you're working toward. The Stoics were masters at living with purpose. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, would remind himself daily of his values, his purpose, and how he wanted to show up in the world. He knew that the happiness of life depends on the quality of thoughts we have, and by aligning his actions with his deeper values, he found a sense of meaning in even the most challenging of days. Setting a daily purpose helps you cut through the noise of life. It provides a sense of direction and fulfillment, making sure you're not just going through the motions but actively working towards something that matters to you. For example, instead of letting the day unfold without any particular focus, you might decide that today you'll practice patience, complete a specific project, or take time for self-care. Whatever your goal is, it becomes your anchor for the day, guiding your actions and decisions. By setting a purpose each day, you also create a sense of accomplishment. At the end of the day, when you've worked toward your goal, you feel a sense of pride and fulfillment. This builds emotional resilience as it reinforces the habit of taking action, making progress, and moving closer to your larger goals, one day at a time. The beauty of this habit is that your daily purpose doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be some grand achievement. It could be as simple as deciding to take care of your body, learn something new, or make time for a meaningful conversation with a loved one. The important thing is that it aligns with your deeper values and helps you move toward the life you want to build. So, tomorrow morning, take a moment to reflect on your purpose for the day. What do you want to achieve? What action will bring you closer to your long-term goals? Setting a daily purpose is a small but powerful practice that can transform your mindset, boost your productivity, and help you approach each day with intention and emotional strength. 10. Conclusion: building emotional strength through Stoic habits. As we wrap up today's episode, it's important to reflect on the powerful habits we've discussed. Building emotional strength isn't about avoiding hardship or controlling everything around us. It's about mastering how we respond to life's challenges. Choosing our mindset, actions, and reactions with wisdom, clarity, and resilience. The 10 habits we've explored today, inspired by Stoic philosophy, are not just ways to navigate difficult times. They are practices that build a resilient emotional foundation. From recognizing what's within your control to setting a clear daily purpose, these habits help you reclaim control over your emotional world. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with intention, calm, and strength. The Stoics taught us that emotional strength doesn't come from avoiding discomfort or trying to control the uncontrollable. It comes from embracing life as it is, with all its uncertainties, changes, and challenges, and learning how to respond to it with a calm, focused mind. By setting clear priorities, practicing gratitude, letting go of what no longer serves you, and consistently practicing these Stoic habits, you move closer to becoming the strongest version of yourself. So, here's my challenge to you. Pick one habit from today's list and commit to practicing it for the next week. Whether it's pausing before reacting, setting a daily purpose, or reflecting on your emotions, the small changes you make today will build the emotional strength you need for tomorrow. Remember, it's the consistent effort, day by day, that will lead to lasting transformation. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can continue to learn, grow, and become emotionally stronger each and every day.